Boca Juniors again missing the mark in the Copa Libertadores. Speaking of passion and pride, Boca Juniors knows a thing or two about that. Here's how they've been in the last years, almost 10 years. The closest they've gotten is semifinals, which the last time they got that close was in 2020. Herc, you mentioned Fernando Gago and what this could mean for him now coming forward. And speaking of, just 136 days ago, Fernando Gago was introduced as a new head coach at Boca Juniors. Today, he could be on the brink of being sacked. The elimination of the Copa Libertadores would be the reason for his firing, or the nail in the coffin, as you mentioned. And his match against Rosario Central this weekend is reported to be his last. Fair?
Listen, I know a lot of Mexican fans right now, Chivas fans especially, are dancing on the grave of Fernando Gago.
Of course.
If it's Martin Anselmi, who's at Porto, getting eliminated in Europa League, or Fernando Gago, they feel slighted. Liga MX fans feel slighted for these two coaches just picking up and leaving in the way they left their respective clubs. But Fernando Gago is what he is. It's the same coach that it didn't end well at Racing, same coach that it didn't end well at Chivas, the same coach that didn't end well right now, or is not ending well at Boca. Who put him in charge? You know, Riquelme put him in charge. And I'm old enough to remember the Boca glory years. And if you look at, for example, the Club World Cup right now, the best teams are supposed to go to the Club World Cup. The champions of the respective leagues are supposed to go to the Club World Cup. How did Boca get there? They got there through a ranking. They didn't win their league. They didn't win a cup. They didn't win Libertadores. Far from it. Argentine football has long suffered from financial issues and Brazilian football taking over when it comes to Libertadores. But now a big club like Boca, struggling the way they've struggled, goes far beyond Fernando Gago. You've got to look at what Boca is now and what they once were. The last time they were relevant, the last time they were in the Libertadores final was, 2018, I believe, when they played River Plate in Madrid, and the aftermath of all that stuff. It's been a long time since we can sit here and talk about the Boca Juniors glory days. So, is it fair? I don't know. This is what world football is today. Immediate results, and if you can't spark a change, you're gone. Alain Velasco was a man who was the last penalty kick taker in charge of saving Boca Juniors. Alain Velasco was a torn ACL about 18 months ago with FC Dallas. That's where Boca Juniors is today.
Right.
That's where they are today. So I think it's a little unfair to hinge everything on Fernando Gago. Though, I repeat, a lot of Liga MX fans, Chivas fans, dancing on that grave right now.
His numbers not bad. 22 games, 11 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses, a 59% when it comes to effectiveness. He's the 6th coach in 5 years under Juan Román Riquelme. That just says a lot about what Boca Juniors is going through. Shaq, our goalie. What do you think about Agustín Marchesín, Boca's goalie, asking for that switch before
weird, right?
penalties?
I don't get it. I really don't.
Have you ever seen this?
No. The only time I've seen goalkeepers being switched at the last minute.
Right.
They're coaches who feel seems at the World Cup level.
With the Netherlands.
Correct.
Against Costa Rica, yeah.
So it's not unheard of, but to see the goalkeeper in this instance, Marchesín, being the one to initiate that, I don't get it. And this is not just about goalkeepers. As a player, you back yourself every single time. Sometimes rather stupidly. But Herc would know, you don't get to that level unless you have a sense of self-belief that goes beyond arrogance in feeling that you are the right man for every job, every single time. Every single player feels that way. So to go over to the sideline and say, nah, I'm not the one in this circumstance, problematic on the day and certainly with the result, but even more so in the bigger picture of who you are as a player in big moments for a team.
I also think that puts a coach in a bad light, because if you're a fan or a pundit, you're like, who's calling the shots here?
Yeah. Oh, we can all do what we want now?
Yeah, but if a player comes over the sideline and says, I'm out, then, you know, the player, the manager, the coach is boxed in.
But that's what I'm saying. But now it opens up Pandora's box to the problems that are going, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy on so many levels.
Jose?
Agustín Marchesín is 36 years old. He won Copa Sudamericana with Lanús. He won multiple championships in Mexico with Santos and with Club América. he played quite a few games in the UEFA Champions League. He played in Portugal. He played in Spain. He has played for the Argentinian national team, so he knows what pressure is like.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he asked his coach to be substituted. I just can't believe it. Like, we saw what the opportunity that Edinson Cavani missed. But you know what? I'm okay with that because it's football. It's soccer. It can happen. But Agustín Marchesín asking his coach, oh, you know what? I don't want to be for the PKs. He's an experienced goalkeeper. Like, Cavani, he missed. But you know what? He wasn't a coward.
Yeah.
He missed.
Yeah, well, he's going to think about that one for the rest of his life.
Of course.
I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely hold to.
Look, I don't know how this happens. Like, how do you explain to somebody if they still frame the moment that Cavani misses this shot? If you still frame an empty net, like, watch this for a second. I can't, when they get to it, but it amazes me.
Coming up.
Right here.
Yep.
Freeze it right there. It's an empty net.
Yep.
Goalkeeper's beat. Like, explain that to somebody. How do you miss that?
All right, not to defend him, but to defend him, he's getting up from a fall.
Yeah.
He's a little disoriented.
That's a good point.
Maybe.
He got up from a fall.
Hey,
He's not getting up from a fall. He's up.
I just
Yeah, but you get up and you're like, where's the ball?
I just saw.
Right?
That's
just me?
I just saw an 18-year-old Endrick at full speed bring the ball down with his pelvis and finish it with the outside of his boot.
That's very true. Very
this.
true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Cavani, as old as he is, he's gonna think about this for the rest of his life because he knows that's one that you put in. You have to bury 100 out of 100.
Especially because he was brought by Juan Román Riquelme to win Copa Libertadores.
Yeah.
Cavani did not sign for Boca to win the Argentinian domestic title. No, for Boca Juniors, Copa Libertadores is everything. Juan Román Riquelme, he's the best soccer player in the history of Boca Juniors. As a president, one of the worst right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
the
fall from
producer
grace.
just whispered in my ear that Suarez looks
I heard
better
it
than
too, yeah.
Cavani right now. No lies detected.
Yeah, but maybe he's a victim of his surroundings. I keep defending Edinson Cavani. It's a tough situation to be a part of.
Boca ways.
I did cover Boca for a summer, though. All right, let's take it. We're going to remind you that Real Betis, Real Madrid, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Coverage begins at noon on ESPN+.